Am I the a-hole for my reaction after my fiance sent our wedding invitations without my consent? I, male 30, met my now fiancée, female 28, 3 years ago. She was previously engaged to her late fiancé, passed away 3 weeks before the wedding unexpectedly. He had a good relationship with her family, and they bring him up from time to time, but not much. Surprisingly, I know nothing about this guy. My fiancé never talks about him for some reason, although I always encourage her to remember good happy moments. She'd go radio silent whenever her family mentioned him. Anyways, we didn't have any issues until my fiancé and I started planning for our wedding. She suggested a specific date, and I had several reasons to not agree. One of them is that my mom is recovering from a major surgery, and since she's my remaining family, I want her there with me. My fiancé kept insisting and refused to compromise. I took a few days to calm down so we can discuss this again. But I was surprised when Justin, my brother-in-law, contacted me saying his sister's been sending out invitations with the date she picked, and almost everyone in her family received one. He then told me the reason his sister insisted on this specific date is because this was the exact date she and her late fiancé were going to get married, but it didn't happen. I was stunned. That was a messed up discovery. What's worse is that her entire family knows and none of them mentioned it. Yep, even more messed up. I never knew about that, although we had plenty of heart-to-heart together. I was upset. I confronted her. She defended herself, saying she didn't think it'd matter if I knew this is the date when she and her late fiancé were getting married. I said it matters to me, and she shouldn't send out invitations without even telling me. Told her to fix it since it's her family who got the invitations. But she said I was being unreasonable, that she too gets a say as much as I do. That she already went ahead and made reservations on that date. I argued that I was backing out of wedding planning since she keeps insisting on that specific date. I ended up sending everyone who received an invitation an email stating that the wedding is officially postponed. I didn't give the real reason why, but I did apologize. She let everyone know, and everyone except Justin has been criticizing my stance, calling me ridiculous and inconsiderate to postpone for a pathetic reason like that. Some even claimed I was being a goddamn groomzilla for not just going with the flow. It didn't feel right. I kept thinking about how our wedding anniversary will be a constant reminder for my fiancé about her late fiancé for years to come if I give in and agree on this date. I subconsciously hated it. Now for the top comments. I'm sorry, but that is pretty low on her part. She isn't seeing you or marrying you. She is marrying a ghost. Run, you are not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Cancel the wedding. She's simply awful. And don't make it about the fact that it's her wedding date with her ex. Simply repeat to anyone who asks that she disregarded your wishes to pick a date your mother could attend and sent out the invitations anyway. You don't get to treat someone like that. She doesn't deserve a life partner at this stage. Not the a-hole, and the wedding needs to be cancelled, not just postponed. Never marry someone who sends out wedding invitations without clearing it with you first, especially when you had already specifically told her that the date was a no. Not the a-hole. Would not proceed with this marriage without premarital counseling. There's nothing wrong with counseling at that stage, but clearly your fiancé is still grieving and having an open issues is no way to start a marriage. Honestly, if the date means that much to her, I suggest you push it back a year. Your mom matters to you. Not the a-hole. I don't think I'd go through with this marriage. This sounds like she's pushing for some personal agenda. Either way, she blatantly disregarded your opinion and thoughts on your wedding. You know, the thing that you should be doing together? Major red flag. Not the a-hole. It sounds like your fiancé hasn't grieved properly for her dead fiancé and isn't ready to move on. She's using you as a fill-in. Postpone getting married until she gets some much-needed therapy. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to be a stepmother to my fiancé's children? Before I met my fiancé, Cam, he and Monica had 2 children, aged 2 and 4 now. They were already broken up when the youngest child was conceived. One last hookup got them pregnant again. Monica remarried very quickly to Alan, and they tried to have Cam's parental rights terminated so that Alan could adopt the kids. Monica's parents and Alan's parents, who are both wealthy, all joined forces on this. They were not able to get Cam's parental rights terminated, but Cam was not able to get much custody. He got the standard every other weekend and 2 weeks in summer, but they have all done anything they can to interfere with his custody time, so he's gotten a lot less than that. Cam and I have been together for 2 years, but I've only met his kids a handful of times. I have an extremely demanding career that's very important to me, and weekends are the only time I have for myself. Cam knows that with my career, I don't have time or energy for parenting. I was happy to be another caring adult figure in his kids' lives, like a cousin or aunt role, but I can't be another parent. Cam asked me to marry him and said he understood that I'd never have to take that role. Yes, here and there, if he really needed a helping hand occasionally, that was fine. But neither of us ever planned for him to rely on me for childcare regularly. Monica and Alan got in an accident where both were drunk. Monica died instantly and Alan was severely injured. Alan has been in rehab and Cam has had the kids. Since then, all 4 of those grandparents basically dropped off the face of the earth. They show no desire to have anything to do with the kids or help whatsoever. We also haven't been getting any calls from Alan even as he heals. I have been helping Cam to the best of my ability, and what's crystal clear is that I can't do this. All of my reasons for not wanting to be a parent turned out to be extremely true. I have been helping him because of course I have, but I can't do it forever. I have been telling Cam that we need to call off the wedding because I can't be a parent. I will help him get his feet under him, but I cannot be a parent and commit to it for life. Cam has not accepted this whatsoever. Half the time, he spends guilt-tripping me about how these kids need me and even encouraging the 2-year-old to call me mommy, which I think is horrible of Cam to do. The other half the time, he spends sobbing and begging me about how he can't lose me, how he'll figure it out. He'll find help so that I don't need to be in a parent role. I don't see how that would possibly work, and I told him we need to break up and he could find someone that wanted to be a parent. Now, my entire family is attacking me and calling me heartless and telling me we can work it out. I asked them if they thought it was okay if I married him but didn't take a parent role. They said of course not. I should just suck it up and be a parent. I was going to say you're the a-hole until I saw that you were asking to call off the wedding, which is the right thing to do. And you should have never agreed to marry a man with young children if you weren't interested in being a parent. So I guess not the a-hole since you're calling off the wedding. But seriously, OP, please don't date other men with children. Yes, this was just unexpected because all 4 of those grandparents literally spent tens of thousands of dollars to get his custody taken away. Every indication would be if something happened to Monica, they would all fight for grandparents' rights and custody, not fall off the face of the earth. But now that the situation has become very real, I won't make the same mistake again. You are not an a-hole for leaving him. You are an a-hole for staying with a man who has kids for 2 years and thinking you can be child-free. They are a package deal, no matter how little he asked them. As you learned, things can change in an instant. Not the a-hole. Though a little everyone sucks here, the kids aren't optional, and you were both dreaming to think that this would ever work that way. But you are not the a-hole for figuring it out and stepping away. You're right to walk away. I agree walking away would be the right choice. Opie says she's been with partner for 2 years, and the child of the last hurrah with ex-wife is 2 years old. She indicates ex-wife moved on very fast, but clearly partner did too. The whole family sounds like a lot of complex and unstable relationships surrounding the kids, and her not wanting kids is not likely to do favors for anyone involved. Yes, Cam and I have actually known each other for many, many years, so we did move fast, but we've also known each other a really long time. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my father's wives into my life? So, my father has always been manipulative and horrible to me and my mom. I will not go into detail because the post would get removed. When I was 10, he left us for a mistress of many years, and my mom completely broke down. Finding out that she had sacrificed all her dreams for this bastard just broke her. The result is a sense of denial. She cannot accept that he is a bad person, and 15 years later still loves him. My dad sometimes used it to manipulate her financially. Even though we do not have a traditional mom-daughter relationship, we are good friends. My mom is now a very supportive and a good person who is very close to both me, my husband, and my in-laws, and I am grateful to have this family now. But to go back, since Dad left, I said I would never agree to meet his mistress. My mom got the sole custody, and though my dad tried to force me, I just refused to communicate with his wife. He only got me twice a month for an evening out, movies, so it is not like I was spending weekends at their place causing drama. My father got kicked out by her a couple of years later and promptly found another woman. Married her weeks after meeting her. Smart guy. I didn't go to the wedding, and the lady is extremely abrasive. I have met her once, and she refused to shake my hand and was generally very rude. From her Facebook posts, which my father shares, she's a very insufferable extremist with whom I do not want to associate. Here I might really be the a-hole. Now it is my father who keeps trying to have a relationship. I would have gone no contact if he didn't keep trying because when in the past, I let him get closer to me. It hurt me or my mom again. He does seem to have grown a lot and completely changed his lifestyle and really wants to make amends. Now I am almost 9 months pregnant with mine and hubby's first kid. It is also my father's first grandchild. He has been calling and trying to fix things ever since he found out. The last time he called, he talked about grandma and grandpa with his wife, and I told him no. I will be okay in letting him have limited contact with the baby, but I will not let his new wife be grandma. My mom and my mother-in-law will be grandmas. He lost it and screamed at me that I have caused his previous marriage to fail because I would not accept his wife. That I'm again trying to ruin his life. I told him I will not risk damaging relationships when for the first time in my life I have a functioning supportive family. That I was never his priority, and therefore he is not my priority over people who actually care. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to allow my father's wives into my life? Not the a-hole. I have to wonder how much he's changed if he's currently blaming his failed marriage on you. Good question, but from how things were, he actually has. He stopped being a workaholic and a borderline alcoholic. He is much less aggressive now, etc. It used to be bad. When I was 6, I said that I'm afraid of 3 things. Vampires, monsters, and daddy. OP, not being so bad doesn't mean that it's good. Not the a-hole. People do not change. They just get better at hiding who they really are. Oh, I love this quote. Thank you. Not the a-hole. It sounds like you already know this, but here for reinforcement. You're absolutely in the right to keep anyone you feel is toxic away from your child. And bad taste in who you marry and trying to drag them into your daughter's life against their will definitely counts as toxic. I think you are safer staying no contact. I was seriously getting some doubts, especially seeing the amount of blended families and people get along with their parents' new partners. Thanks, I needed this. The last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not wanting my boyfriend's little sister to use every single one of my things? For context, my fiancé and I have moved into his mom's house to help save for our new home at his mother's request. He has a 7-year-old sister, and we are both mid-20s. Our room does not have a lock, and I keep all my things in our room because there isn't any more space in the shared bathroom. It started with using my phone for TikTok or whatever. In the beginning, I did not care, but I realized she was going through my messages, emails, social accounts, pictures, documents, etc. for whatever reason. She ended up deleting and rearranging a whole bunch of apps on my home screen, and that was the final straw, so she's no longer allowed on my phone anymore. I have an iPad that I used to do my work on, and she has been bombarding me asking if she can use it, and I've told her many times she cannot. She has complained to my fiancé and her mom about the situation, and while they don't say anything to me, I can tell they want me to let her use it so she shuts up about it. Before I moved in with them, I was doing nails out of my home and brought my things so I could continue doing press-ons, as well as my own and my mother-in-law's nails from time to time. I told his little sister not to touch any of my professional nail stuff for obvious reasons, and that if she ever wanted her nails done, I would paint them myself. I have since walked in on her going through my nail supplies and using my polishes. Gel polish that you need to cure, which she does not cure because she doesn't know how it works. She is also making us think about me putting acrylics on her year-old, but I said no. 1, because of her age, and 2, because I'm not going to perform an entire nail service on a person who is not paying for my work, let alone fully appreciate it. If that sounds harsh, I don't even care because acrylics are a process. Now it's everything else. Jewelry, makeup, skincare, she goes through my clothes. She moves my things around even if she's not moving or using things. She's opening drawers and going through my belongings. I come home after work to go to bed, and she's in my bed watching while eating snacks when there's a TV in the living room and her mom's room. When I come into my room after a shower to change, she walks right in. When I am in my room wanting some time to myself, she comes in and sits there and won't be quiet. I'm losing my mind. I'm trying to be stern without crossing the boundary of disciplining someone else's child, but I really can't handle it. Nothing bothers me more than someone using my things without asking or just invading my space in general. My fiancé won't help me set boundaries. He doesn't care if she's in the room when he changes, and she doesn't care for any of his things. I just want to know if I'm being irrational, or if I have every reason to take my stuff and go. Thanks. Not day haul. If a lock isn't approved by your mother-in-law, I'd suggest at least getting a big safety lock box to put your nail equipment and valuables into. Your boyfriend not addressing this problem is definitely a concern though. So I think his lack of support towards protecting your personal belongings and valuables needs to be addressed as well. I agree. He doesn't see a problem with his sister's behavior? Red flag. Also, he isn't being your advocate like he should be. There are definitely several conversations that need to be had before you even begin to discuss wedding dates. Not day haul. You need a lock on the door and some kind of lockable space for your supplies. It's not unreasonable at all to want your privacy or your stuff to be left alone. You need the fiancé to pull his finger out and help you set your boundaries. Looking into locks as we speak. Thank you. Yes, a lock isn't just a temporary solution. If you plan to marry this guy, you need to talk to him and he needs to do something. For Pete's sake, he's not having any care for you and your stuff.